What is up, dudes and dudettes? Welcome back to Dark Souls 2. I'm Seth, your guide through Drang Lake. And what are we doing today? Today, we are going to go to... not the Belfry. We've been to the Belfry. I think it's time to go kill the Lost Sinner. And to do that, we are going to go to Straight Cell. If you don't have Straight Cell unlocked, you can go to Servant's Quarters. It's not really all that much further. Straight Cell is just slightly quicker. And gotta be careful here. That wasn't too bad. We got this door here unlocked. So we're just gonna go ahead and step on through. Go around over here and kill this guy. Now we're not gonna do what I did last time I was here, which was get myself killed to the crossbowman. We're gonna be much more careful. Sinner's Rise. Let's not go up there yet. Let's go down. Let's go up. Well, maybe we won't go up yet. Is that it? You guys done? They don't usually drop down there. They usually just stay up top. But for whatever reason, they decided to join me today. Except this guy. Alright, there's another bonfire up here, which may seem like a waste, given how close it is to the other ones. But, I don't know. They consider Sinner's Rise to be a completely separate area from the Lost Bastille, even though they're technically made in the same place. So, game-wise, they probably just figured, oh, hey, we need to put a bonfire here. I don't think there's any real reason for it, though. It's not like it's hard to get back here. Human effigies. And I just realized I don't think I have whatever, Durant's Fix. I don't think I have Durant's Fix running. Which may explain why those textures look so muddy. Oh well, what can you do? I'm not going to restart just to throw on Durant's Fix. Ooh, Royal Greatsword. Despite the magnificence of this weapon, it was terribly inadequate in the war against the mighty giants. Really? Wonder why that is. It does have bleed effect on it, though. Alright, we are going down, down, down to fight the Lost Sinner. In case you didn't know, I mentioned it in an early... Ooh, I didn't think that was going to hurt me that much. I mentioned it in an earlier episode. There are some theories floating around that the Lost Sinner is the princess from the bell tower. And that she exiled herself here, and that actually the Iron King helped build this place for her. You might notice I have 20 lightning spears. I think I mentioned it in the last video, but I upped some stuff. You saw that summon sign back there. That is Lucatiel's summon sign. We will get that here in a bit. But first, we want to clear out the area. And you gotta be really careful fighting these guys. They are pretty strong. And you're fighting in Aw, really? You're fighting in waist deep water, so a lot of your mobility is going to be hampered while you're in here. I should go over here and get this. This is, I believe, Sublime Bone Dust. Indeed. It's a good little find. It's not a bad idea, even if you don't come to kill the Lost Center, to come down here and grab that Sublime Bone Dust early on. You know, if you're having trouble with the game or just want a little advantage. Oh, crap. Okay, let's see how that's going to be. Technically, enemies in water take more damage to lightning attacks. But I'm not doing enough damage to be satisfied fighting that guy, so I'm not going to waste my lightning spears. Large soul of a nameless soldier. Let's go back here. This is a hidden wall. Be very careful out here. I'm not 100% sure how far out the platform goes, but it does not go out very far, and there is indeed a drop-off that will kill you. But this is where you get the Northern Ritual Band. Northern Ritual Band makes your magic stronger at the expense of cast. Decreases your HP and increases the amount of spells you can use. This modest looking ring contains very powerful magic. To imagine what unspeakable deeds were performed to create such rings, one need only recall the cruel fate of the residents of Aldia. Everybody blames Aldia for everything, but most of these things have been, most of these rings and stuff have been around for a while. There are more of these guys in the area here. Be careful. Okay, that was alright. Nothing in there. And you need to have, if you don't have the Bastille key, you can't get in these side areas. There you see Fire Seed there. There's the Fire Seed, which is a pretty decent item, and also there's these shortcuts here. That's up to you if it's that big a deal. It's not like you need the Bastille key. You can just kill these guys fairly easily without getting it. That's your call. We're going to run back and pick up Lucatiel, because really the only reason I didn't pick up Lucatiel is because when I go out onto that platform in that secret area, she has a tendency to fall off, and I didn't want her to fall off. So I just left her here until I could clear out that part, but she should be pretty safe now. There's a place ahead where she has another chance to fall off, and there's really nothing you can do about that. If you want to summon her, you've got to take her through that area, so. No items in here. Yeah, no items in here. Get out of the way, Lucatiel. There are more guys in the area. Okay. Thought I got him, but whatever. Nothing in here. Pretty sure there's an item in one of these rooms. Maybe I'll just have to keep walking through until I find it. There it is, Ferrous Lockstone, and a Soul of Proud Knight. Soul of Proud Knight's a nice find, but the Lockstone is what's important. That's what we want. Right. I don't think there's anything else. Pretty sure that's it. So we kill ourselves a Lost Sinner. And again, if you don't have the Bastille key, you have to go through and pull that lever. But it's not really that big a deal. And this is the area I was talking about. Lucatiel can fall off pretty easily here. The main thing is make sure you don't stop on the bridge. That seems to screw with the AI when you stop on the bridge, because they seem to try to find ways around you, and then she gets herself killed. Alright, through the fog gate would be the Lost Center fight. However, before we do that, we're going to go up here. Now, you do need the Bastille key to unlock this. So the Bastille key unlocks this area, which, one, gives you this nice smooth and silky stone. But two, let's see, lets you set alight this right here. Inside the Lost Center's room, it is pitch black. Lighting these torches here allow you to see while you're in there to an extent. I mean, it's not like it's going to be the middle of the day or anything, but it'll allow you to at least lock onto her from a decent range. Otherwise, you have to pretty much be right in her face the whole time. If you're a caster, it's going to be really hard if you don't light these torches. I think that's it for the area. So, let's go fight the Lost Center. Notice that bug? It's a chaos bug. She knocks the lights out. If you were playing against her and you hadn't used the torches, which you can see the room here is sort of light, it would be completely dark. One of the main things when you're fighting her is be on your guard, even if you're a fair distance from her. Her longsword is very long, and you can get nailed by it even from a distance. I'm doing way more than 47 damage. I don't know why only 47 is showing up on the boss's bar. I'm just doing way more than that. There's the Lost Center. Not a particularly hard fight. Even without Lucatiel, it's not a hard fight. In fact, it's still pretty easy. Something to notice. You notice this iron door here. Same as the one in the Iron Keep. This led to theories about the nature of the Lost Sinner and how she may be related to the Iron King. Again, there's a good article on Dark Souls 2 wiki at the F Extra Life. It is essentially going through and talking about how it's believed the Lost Sinner is actually the princess of the Bell Towers. The Iron King was the prince. The Lost Sinner tried to relight the flame, and possibly even by trying to relight the flame, caused the Iron Keep to fall into Lost Izalith and killed the Iron King. And in repentance for her sins, came down here to hide herself away. Now, it's also possible that she didn't cause the Iron King to keep to fall. It's possible that she just came down here after failing to light the first flame again. But it's pretty clear that she did try to light the first flame, and that's the sin she is in penance for. Now, that's not necessarily the only thing she's remorseful for. As you see on the ground here, there's some writing. It might be easier if I don't zoom in. There's writing all over the ground here. If I were to guess, this is her writing out her sins. It's possible that these larger letters are like a date or a name, and that the rest of it is what exactly she did. They are all over the place in here. I mean, just they fill the area. So if that's the case, if the Iron Sinner, or the Lost Sinner, was indeed chained here, according to her soul, she put herself here. And if she was indeed keeping herself here as penance, she might have listed down all these things she did wrong on the floor here. And if that's the case, I mean, there's just writing all over the place. So obviously she had some things wrong that she felt she'd done. But either way, whether the Iron King put her here, or whether she put herself here after doing something to the Iron King, doesn't really matter. Because at the end of the day, this is where she was. But I do think the theory about her being the Princess of the Bell Tower is actually pretty solid. I was reading it, and at first I was skeptical. I think, oh, that seems unlikely. But the more I read, it's well put together. It makes sense. I agree. Soul of the Lost Sinner, prisoner of sinners rise. The Lost Sinner eternally punishes herself for the sins of her past. Again, it says sins of her past, which imply that she's done more wrong than just try to relight the first flame. I think it's her weapon that when you trade in the soul that says she tried to relight the first flame. And if you kill her on New Game Plus, you get also the soul of the old witch from her, implying she was possessed, or at least possessed, the soul of the Witch of Izalith. Got a fragrant branch of yore. Pretty important there. I think there was a secret anywhere. No. And again, one of the main themes in Dark Souls 2 is that the cycle repeats itself. That is, the Lost Witch, the Old Witch, or well, the Witch of Izalith in Dark Souls 1, tried to relight the first flame, screwed up, caused a major cataclysm, and literally birthed all the demons. Fast forward to Dark Souls 2, the Lost Sinner again tried to relight the first flame. Whether she was possessed by the witch or simply had the witch's soul and was quote-unquote following her destiny, it's not really clear. We don't really know which came first, whether she had the soul first. We don't even know if it was ever in control of her. The chaos bug going into her implies that it was, to some extent. The chaos bugs were a product of the witch relighting the first flame. But whether or not she was in control when she tried to relight the first flame is unknown. Her being the cause of the demons, we only find a couple demons in the game, and two of them are in close vicinity to the Iron Keep. The Smelter Demon and the Covetous Demon. Now, the Covetous Demon appears to at one time have been a man. It's possible he was responsible for his own demise. The Smelter Demon appears to have been given life by something else. Could it have been the attempt to relight the first flame that did that? I don't know. It seems very logical to me. But it's hard to tell what exactly did it. I mean, there are theories out there that relighting the first flame, or the attempt to do so, is what destroyed Hyde. The evidence for it is slim, but obviously something happened to Hyde, and we know that relighting the first flame really screws stuff up, or attempting to at least. And I should point out, you don't relight the first flame when you kindle it, like in Dark Souls 1, where you rekindle the first flame. That's not relighting it. There's a difference. When you rekindle the flame, you're essentially taking what it has and making it burn again. Sort of like when you throw a log into a fire. You're not reigniting the fire. You're just making what fire you have burn again. But the witch was literally trying to create the first flame again. Trying to start over and create a first flame that I imagine in her mind would not fade. Because that seems to be the problem with the first flame right now. Every time you rekindle it, it fades. And the fading seems to be a product of the original Lord Souls owners taking their souls from the flame. That seems to be what causes that. And what seems to me to be the most likely reason the witch tried is because she realized if they didn't relight the flame,
I'll be around.
something bad was going to happen. The Age of Dark was oncoming. So she tried to remake the first flame, and not simply rekindle it, knowing rekindling would only stave it off. Gwyn rekindled out of desperation at the end. He realized at the last that he had failed, he couldn't control the undead, he couldn't cure the undead, and that everything was that he had worked so hard for was just going to fail. So finally, he divvied up his soul to his servants and said, "Screw it, I'm out of here, I'm going to go fix my fault." Now, we know that it didn't fix it permanently, but he bought time. That's what the undead cycle is. You're just buying time. That's why it's a curse. Because you're not really fixing anything. You're just pushing it off to a later date. But the witch wanted to fix that. She wanted to not push it off to a later date. She wanted it to stop completely. And she failed. And when she failed, she birthed demons. So, let's see if we can buy 5 of those. I don't think that's enough yet. Oh, it was. Once you spend, I think, 14,000 souls in Valencia, you can talk to her and get the coveted silver serpent ring. +1.
Lively.
Which I don't think I'm going to use. Yeah, I could probably replace the soldier's ring, but I'm not going to. Let's see. Let's go to Strayed. This was a fairly quick episode, simply because killing the Lost Sinner doesn't take a lot of time, so let's go talk to Strayed real quick. Yeah, but anyways, the Lost Sinner's greatest sin appears to be trying to relight the first flame, but it does not appear to be her only sin. What? Oh, there we go. I kept toggling that. Gotta be careful, don't get straight when you run through here.
Well, this is a most charming soul. Very good indeed. My power is yours. Let it serve your desire.
Ha ha ha. Let's see, I don't think he's the one that gives you anything for the Lost Sinner. He gives, or sorry, not he, Ornifex, a blacksmith we'll meet later on, is the one that gives you stuff for the Lost Sinner's soul. Let's see. What else do we got? Okay, we got a couple new things. Bone Scythe. The cursed spine of the covetous demon is as hard as rock, and rather than slicing through flesh, this weapon seems to grind it apart. That thing that ended up as a monstrous fiend, what was it to begin with, and why did it never leave the queen? Perhaps it was entranced by some perversion of love. The covetous demon, Mytha, Iron King, Lost Sinner, seems to be just a classic tragedy love story. The Mytha and the Iron King were married, but the Iron King had eyes for the Lost Sinner. Mytha, in jealousy, tried to make herself more beautiful using the poisons that came up out of what many people believe is Blighttown, but at least out of, let's call it, Harvest Valley. She ends up turning into a demon herself. Covetous demon, whoever he was before, is in love with Mytha, but he can't get Mytha's attention because Mytha is focused on the Iron King. So some theories say, well, he ate to try to impress her. Others say he ate, because he was sad. Either way, he turns into a demon. Let's see. I've already looked at that and that. Roaring Halberd. The unsettling skull carved into this halberd recalls the final moments of the skeleton lord from whom it was created. Doesn't really give us a lot there, but yeah, that's what it is. Here's a good one. Dragon Rider Great Shield. The rank of Dragon Rider was reserved for honorable warriors who helped found Drangleic. Together with the king, they crushed its former inhabitants and erected a magnificent kingdom upon their graves. That is interesting. That tells me Drang Lake itself is very old. Why? Because it was not founded until Vendrick came about. Vendrick didn't inherit Drang Lake. He made Drang Lake. He made it through warfare. That's what this Dragonrider Great Shield says, essentially. He conquered this land and made it Drang Lake. So when we talk about Drang Lake itself being fairly old, that means that all these things that happened before happened a very long time ago. Pursuer's Great Shield. The Pursuer hunts down those branded by the curse, as if each undead soul that he claims will atone one of his sins. That's an interesting little thing there. What was the sin of the Pursuer? It's hard to say. There's really nothing that gives you an idea about it. The sword says essentially the same thing. Essentially, the Pursuer is like the hunting dog of Vendrick. He was sent out to find the undead and bring them down. There seems to be more than one Pursuer. So whether this was like a title that was granted to people who had to atone for certain sins, or else just a certain amount of people who were made up the Pursuers, it's unclear. But there seems to be this rank within the Drang Lake army, where if you've done something wrong, you're given these powers and sent out to find the undead, and that's what the Pursuers seem to be. Doesn't look like anything else really here. We don't have much else. If we trade 4 boss souls with Strayed, he will give us his armor. So actually, let's trade for 4 boss souls here. I'll just pop ourselves the soul. Oh. I thought the Soul of Proud Knight gave me more souls than that. Apparently not.
Well, very prepared.
Okay, let's take that and that. Now let's talk to him.
Cursed one, take thee.
We get his gear, the black gear, which is, in my opinion, the coolest looking caster gear in the game. It's not the best caster gear, but it's the coolest looking caster gear.
Put them on, and please, stop being so weak. Feel, let's
I
go.
love Strayed. He's so cool. Let's look at his gear. Look at all his infantry armors. A black robe, enchanted with resistance to magic, belonged to Strayed of Olphis. Strayed spent several lifetimes as stone. During this hiatus, kingdoms rose and fell until the land called Drang Lake came to be. Now again, I'm not certain that Strayed is undead. It's not really clear. It's possible, but it's not clear that he actually is. But if we consider a lifetime to be, let's be generous, 100 years, Strayed himself has probably been down for somewhere between 700 and 1,000 years. And given that Strayed himself seems to be aware of the cycle, I think it's safe to say that we're, at the very least, 2,000 to 3,000 years removed from Dark Souls 1. Again, I advocate probably closer to 5. But everything points to us being more than just a few hundred years out. We're a ways out from Dark Souls 1. Nothing interesting there. Let's see what his hat says. A black hood grants slight increase to spellcasting speed. Strayed was invited to the old kingdom of Olphis for his wisdom, but its depth was such that people soon feared him, and in the end, Strayed was led into a dreadful trap. Did I say deadful? Oh, dreadful. I was gonna say. Pretty sure deadful's not a word. Yeah, that's it. So yeah, Strayed was so intelligent, so smart, and knew so much about magic that it actually scared the people that had invited him to come live with them, to teach them. To me, that is an indication that this dude is just awesome. That he could probably kill us without even thinking about it. And I also don't think he's a bad guy. He may be a bit eccentric, but he doesn't seem to be evil or anything. Alright, that's probably going to be it for today. I think I've managed to screw around long enough. We killed the Lost Sinner. Next time we are going to go to the Shaded Woods. Later, dudes.